Hello everyone, I hope you're having a magical day so far. Today I wanted to show you how I make these kind of magical, enchanting, forest-themed clay pens. I've seen a lot of YouTubers and creators on this platform make videos on how to create clay pens, but I wanted to kind of give you my own kind of spooky, cute rendition of the method. First thing you're going to need is some bakeable polymer clay. You'll also need acrylic paints. I like Liquitex Heavy Body. You'll need some paintbrushes, of course, mostly small paintbrushes. You'll also need some E6000 or some other kind of super glue, pin backs, which can be purchased on Amazon or at a craft store, an X-Acto knife, Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, and of course some rhinestones to add that little bit of magic, which we always need. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to roll out my polymer clay to about an inch or a half inch of thickness. You don't want it to be too thin because then they'll break more easily. And here I have some templates of pins that I've made in the past, but when you're creating your own pins, you really just want to think of the general shape of what you want your pin to look like. So the general shape of a crystal, or the general shape of a mushroom, the general shape of a spider web, so on and so forth. Smooth out the edges, and then we're going to bake our clay pins according to the box instructions. For me, it was 275 degrees for around 20 minutes. Once they're baked, they'll be nice and hard and ready for the fun part, which is decorating them. My palette that I'm choosing to work with is more pastels, cool tones, and, purples and blues. For the crystal in particular, I'm kind of going for a rainbow aura crystal look, so I'm blending pastel versions of rainbow colors, so blue, pink, yellow, green, purple. And I'm just dabbing my paintbrush very lightly to blend those colors together and create kind of a blended look to it. This is what it looks like once it's dried. And I'm doing the same thing with the spider web. So same technique, but I'm using pink, purple, and blue. And then for the bat, I'm just painting the base entirely lavender. Lavender is my favorite color, so of course I had to incorporate that into a couple of my pens. And for the rat, I am doing the base white. Now for the mushroom, I worked a little bit differently. I did paint a base on, which is this lavender color, but I straight away went into blending the colors together and creating the details because the mushroom did take a little bit more detailing and blending than the other ones will. You see here I'm blending it halfway from the darkest purple into a lighter purple. And with acrylic paints, it's really important to blend as soon as you put the paint down, or else you're not going to be able to blend it at all. It's not like oil in that way where you have time. Acrylics is very, very kind of difficult in that way that you have to blend quickly. But for smaller scale works like this, it's very effective and it works great because it does dry quite fast and you can move on to sections and new projects quicker. Now for the spider web, I am just painting the white lines onto the corners and across the center to create the web itself. A tip that I have for working with lines and acrylic paints is that you really want to make sure that you have it mixed with water, because if you don't, then it is going to skip easily, it's going to be hard to work with, and you're just not going to have a fun time. Make sure that you kind of mix it with either a medium or water. It'll make it much easier. Here I'm just adding the spider. Now this was a part that I actually kind of messed up on. Unfortunately, as you can see, the legs kind of come off of the end, which I wasn't super happy about, but things happen and mistakes are fine, you learn from them. Same technique as with the spider, painting the crystal lines, trying to water them down so that the lines get nice and crisp. Unfortunately, my camera did not save most of the painting process for the rat, but if you want to know kind of more on how to paint rats, I do have a whole video on it called Creating Rat Magnets. I am a rat lover because I have pet rats, which is why you see so many rats in my videos. But I apologize, my camera pooped out on me like that, but painting a rat is quite easy. The hardest part is blending the ears, but the face is really just, the eye and the nose and whiskers. Bats are one of my all-time favorite kinds of animals, and I recently found out that they are one of the most biodiverse species of animal in the world. There's over 1,400 species of bats worldwide. And I think it's like 20% of all mammals that have been discovered have been bats. I don't know, it's so cool. I freaking love bats. I initially made the eyes quite small because bats don't have the best eyesight. I decided to make them a bit bigger. It looked kind of like an Adventure Time character, which I was totally fine with because I love Adventure Time. The final touch for the clay pins is adding some glitter on top of a few of them. For me, it's the spider web and the crystals. Obviously, the crystals have to be sparkly. And I like spider webs that have kind of that dewdrop look to it, They shimmer in the light. And I think that the glitter almost gives it that type of effect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue the rhinestones on. So the mushroom had some rhinestones and the rat had the rhinestone eye. And the spider had 2 black rhinestones for the body and the head. Now we're going to top all of them off with a little bit of Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. This just seals in all of that great painting that you've done and all of that fine detail work and makes it shiny as well, so it looks like a resin coat without actually having to use resin, which is awesome. I love Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. Great for a lot of things. We're going to add the pin backs. Just take your super glue, put a little dab on there, and push it onto the back of your pin. And let it dry. The final step is to do a thin coat of Mod Podge Dimensional Magic on the back and the sides, and then you're done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Stay magical, friends.